coming this evening. This evening's a little bit different because it's the organizational meeting. Normally, the board president would open the meeting and do the pledge, but we have to elect officers. But before we do that, we'd like to have our three re-elected and newly elected board members come out to the front because we have to swear you in with the oath of office.
I, Rich Urban,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
of America and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
of America and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the laws of the United States
the laws of the United States
and the State of Indiana.
and the State of Indiana.
I will faithfully execute
I will faithfully execute
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a member of this governing body, so help me God.
as a member of this governing body, so help me God. Thank you.
Again, we'd like to thank our three board members for the hard work and dedication, along with our other four other board members. As those people know, we spent a lot of time in this process, and we just, again, want to thank you guys for stepping forward and doing this for the next 4 years. The next order of business is selection of officers for the 2019 calendar year. And we traditionally ask for either a slate of officers, or for nominations for the board president. So I would throw that open for a slate of officers for president, vice president, and secretary, or individually for president.
I nominate Ms. McManus as president.
And you want to do a president, or you want to do a slate?
If somebody else wants to do a nomination for vice president? Or I will
You
nominate.
can do all three.
I'll do all three. I nominate all three.
Okay.
I can't remember which ones we just.
Beth as vice president and Jill as the secretary.
Nominate Beth as vice president and Jill as secretary.
Okay, so we have nominations for a slate of officers. I'm looking around, I'm not seeing any other nominations, so we can close that part. And we have a nomination, we'll need a motion and a second to appoint those three outstanding individuals. We have a nomination, you can go ahead and make the motion to also.
Motion it as well?
Yes, you can.
I think Aaron will get ready to do that.
Okay, that'd be great.
Well, we motion to close the nominations, and we motion to approve it.
Yes, that'll work. So we have a motion, and we're looking for a second.
Well, why not? I'll second.
Second, Rob seconds. Any questions, comments, or feedback on that? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So at this point in time, I get to turn the meeting over to the president. So again, thank you for stepping forward to do those positions.
Well, thank you. And we are going to go right into building report for student of the month. Yes? Yes. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. As you know, this is our, you may not know, but this is our favorite time of the night where we honor our young people who are making great impacts in our buildings. So after these little performances are done here, if you would stay after, like take pictures with your young people all together, with the teachers, with the principals, teachers if they're here, and also your families. So please stick around, and Mrs. Stevens will get pictures at the end. We're going to start with Hornet Park and Mrs. Provis.
Good evening, everyone. Hi there, I'm Erin Probus, the principal at Hornet Park. It's good to see everyone and Happy New Year. I wanted to update you on where we are with a few pieces in our building. First is we're in the season of middle of year assessment. So we've been administering individual student assessments that align with the skills on our data dashboards. Those were the skills identified as most essential to teach, reteach, monitor, and assess until mastery. We've also administered the middle of year NWEA Map for Primary Grades assessment, And thanks to compatibility issues being worked out, we're now administering our iReady math assessments. So I want to thank the classroom teachers for administrating those. At the K-1 level, all of our dashboard assessments are one-on-one assessments, so they pull each child back. That's just the best opportunity to see what students know and give them the chance to share that with us. So thanks to all the teachers, thanks to our Title I team for benchmarking all students' reading levels in the entire building. There was one little guy that could not believe, one of our students, that I was asking them to test every student. Today he came up to me, he said, finally they're done with those 1 million kids you had them test. I said, we did it, Quentin. I wanted to thank Mr. Messamore for administering our NWEA tests. So now what we do with that data and that information, report cards and individual student data dashboards come home this Friday. Then what we will do collaboratively at PLC on January 16th, teachers will work on teams and do our middle of year data dig. So they'll look through that data, that information, and determine instructional steps. And then we move from collaborative settings to individual teacher settings. So we'll have our middle of year winter S2S system to system meetings with me, and those will be on January 31st. So I love data, so I love January. It's a great checkpoint. It's not only the season of middle of year assessment, but also we just celebrated the season of Winter Wonderland. We had our first annual kindergarten Winter Wonderland programs the Thursday, December 20th before winter break, and it was so sweet. We had 3 classrooms perform together at a time for 3 shows throughout the day. They performed 5 short holiday songs. Then there was a mix and mingle reception for each group. They got to enjoy sugar cookies and photo ops, and it was a wonderful time. So I wanted to thank Debbie Mahurin, our music instructor. It was a beautiful program, and I'm sure you can imagine coordinating all of our kindergarten students is a tricky task. So she did a beautiful job. All of our kindergarten teachers helped to prepare them, and then they stood by in close support during the program. We had our support staff present. They helped set up, host, and clean up afterwards. Rita Bass helped host the guests by greeting our guests. The music department and the high school shared their risers. Grounds got them there. The community center provided the space. And then we just had a ton of people attend. We had family members, community members, Aaron Lamb, board member came, administrators came. We had a huge turnout, and it was lovely. So we hope now that it will be an annual tradition that you will find time in your schedule sometime to swing by the Winter Wonderland programs next year. And third, not only was it the season of the Winter Wonderland, but also the season of wonder. Rita Bass has coordinated for kindergarten through 3rd grade a Wonder Lab. So if you've ever been to the Wonder Lab, it's called the Museum of Science, Health, and Technology, but it's out of Bloomington, Indiana. They are going to be coming and doing special programming this Monday evening, January 14th, from 5:30 to 8 at Hornet Park, and it's wonderful. Our job is to set up 10 tables. They bring all the goodies. We facilitate the activities, but it is museum quality, interactive activities where kids will explore robots, circuits, computer codes. They're going to develop a computer code that helps them control a friend, build a modular robot, or try their hand at robo-bowling. So it sounds like it's going to be a fun evening. Again, that's Monday evening. So those are a lot of things to celebrate this season, but that which we are proudest of is our Student of the Month. So Parker Sunderland, come on up, Parker. All right. For Mrs. Bennett, she shared her Parker is a sweet boy who always tries his hardest in art class. For Mrs. Stoltz, the speech teacher, Parker is such a pleasure to work with in speech. He's well-behaved, cooperative, sweet, and a good friend. He always works hard and tries his best. From Miss J or Miss Kaiser, Parker is a joy to be around. He always has a smile on his face and is always ready to learn. I get the opportunity to work with Parker's class on a daily basis, so I get to see him get better at everything he does each day. He has blossomed since day one, and he works so hard. Whether it's mastering his letters and letter sounds or working hard in gym class, I can always count on Parker to do his very best. I'm so proud of his accomplishments so far, and I can't wait to watch him continue to grow. And then from his teacher, Mrs. Doyle, she shares that Parker is a really conscientious student. He wants to do well academically. He is very well-behaved, and she really enjoys having him in class. Now here's a special little thing about Mrs. Doyle and the Sunderland family. This is her fourth Sunderland she has had. She has had his dad in third grade and his sisters in kindergarten and first. So it's been a pleasure having their family. On behalf of the family, I present Student of the Month, Parker Sunderland. Thank you.
I believe I had Parker's father 24 years ago. So I think Mrs. Reed's going to help out with Central Elementary tonight.
I had Parker's dad 30-something years ago. Honest to gosh, it was. Yep, my first year of teaching. Congratulations, Parker. I am Mrs. Reed, principal at South Grove Intermediate School, but I get the honor tonight of presenting for Mr. Buckler, who is home with his mom. She had some surgery today, so he's home taking care of her. And I'm going to start out with Mr. Buckler's information from Central Elementary School. A huge thank you to the staff of the Busy Bee Cafe and Dulcie Holcomb for the overwhelming success of our annual holiday luncheons. Between the 2 days, we served every child as well as 365 additional guests. The cafeteria staff did an outstanding job of preparing delicious food, and the central staff did a terrific job of setting up, serving all the guests, and cleaning up. This was our 15th year and by far the best. Thanks to everyone for all the hard work to make this a special time for the students and their guests. And I know Mr. Buckler is very proud of that, so thank you. He also says, as we begin the new year, make it your resolution to be at school and on time each day. I'm going to say that for South Grove as well. Attendance is a key to success in school. And I don't know Shania White. Is Shania Wilhite here tonight? Okay, that's his student of the month. Do you want me to wait and he can do her?
No, we can have her come back another night. She's
Okay,
here tonight.
okay. Then I'm not going to introduce his student of the month because she's not here tonight. It is Shania Wilhite is his student of the month. So I'll go on to South Grove. Just so parents know, report cards are going home this Friday. So please expect to see one coming home with your student. If a parent doesn't see the report card, they can get online and look at Skyward to see grades. They can reach out to the teacher. They can call the South Grove office. However, we will get a copy sent home for sure. Students are more successful in school when their parents are genuinely concerned and involved in their education. So that's why we appreciate the teacher support or the parent support. We just want them to know those report cards are coming home. On Friday, we are also celebrating our students' accelerated reader success. If they have met their goal of, for the second 9 weeks, they get an ice cream sundae party at lunch. So the students have to meet their point goal, and they have to have a 90% comprehension score to get the ice cream sundae. And our accelerated reader program has been going on for a long time, but it promotes literacy in the students so that they learn to enjoy reading books because they're going to read books on their level, and they get to pick the book that they want to read. So we really promote literacy at South Grove through the accelerated reader program. It's a time for the teachers. They are sitting down right now to come up with individual goals for each student. So they're having conversations with them about the books that they're reading. And then the children go to the library and pick out the books that they want to read. So the best part is that the kids get to read what they want to read, not always having to read what the teacher tells them to read. So it's a win-win. So we wanted to tell parents, make sure your students are reading at least 30 minutes each night so that they can meet their AR goal and get an ice cream sundae at the end of the 9 weeks. And I would like Allison Stevens to come up here, please. Hello. Good look at everybody. This is Allison Stevens. She is South Grove Student of the Month. Allison is the daughter of Jason and Debbie Stevens. She plays the 6th grade band, the trumpet, and she was a member of our 6th grade girls basketball team. Mrs. Agee says, I don't have the pleasure of having Allison in class this year as she went the performing arts route instead of the related arts route. However, she is an absolute gem. She always had a positive attitude and a smile on her face for whatever wacky thing Mrs. Agee was asking the class to do. I've also had the opportunity to watch Allison compete in sports outside the classroom, and let me tell you, she is a class act. Her tenacity, sportsmanship, encouragement of other players, and dedication to her own skills and development are truly awe-inspiring. Allison is exactly the kind of person you want to call a Hornet. She's the total package of smart, kind, talented, and beautiful. Congratulations on this honor, Allison. And Mr. Carney, oh, I got more. Mr. Carney says, I got a bunch more, but I'll just pick a few here. Mr. Carney is our band director. He said, Allison is a member of the 6th grade band and plays the trumpet. She's respectful, prepared every day, and works at her craft. She's volunteered for activities above what is required of her in class and always takes care of all required work well before the deadline. And Mr. Conley, her teacher this year, says, Allison is a joy to have in class. She is always meeting expectations and goes above and beyond to help her peers. She likes to be challenged and never gives up when something gets difficult. Allison displays the traits of someone who will be able to tackle any challenge that she is given. Congratulations, Allison Stevens.
Thank you, Mrs. Reed.
You're welcome.
Mr. Gearhart, Beech Grove Middle School.
Good evening, I'm Tom Gerhardt, Principal of Beech Grove Middle School. Just a couple of things to update you on since our last meeting. I'd like to thank Mrs. Eckstein and Mrs. Stout, who led a group of students who make up the Ambassadors Club, and each year they spend some of their Thanksgiving break time and then Friday after school before we leave for winter break, decorating and undecorating our school. Just a short walk around our school. It's a beautiful place between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Would also like to thank you, the board, and administration, our maintenance department. We had a real busy Christmas break with repainting our gym. If you have not been in our gym in a while, it was not a visually appealing place to welcome guests. I can assure you, and Mr. Jallis, you were there last night, that it is absolutely beautiful right now. It's welcoming, and it's a place we should be proud of. They did a wonderful job, so thank you for that. Next Tuesday, the 15th, we will be administering the PSA to all of our 8th grade students, and we're going to do that in our lower gymnasium, and we'll contest them all at once. This is the second year that we're going to do this, and it's provides wonderful data to Mrs. Walters in the high school as they begin to schedule those 8th grade students for their high school journey. Our school-wide spelling bee will be the 23rd of January, and that will be from 11 to 12:15. So if you want to stop by, you can certainly take a look at what happens there. In sports, we just have a few games left for our boys. None of them, except for the last one, is at home, and that's on the 22nd versus Greenwood. Girls basketball starting on the 8th. Wrestling has their first home meet on the 16th, and swimming has their first meet on the 24th. And finally, as Mrs. Reed talked about, report cards will go home on Friday. So if you have any questions, reach out to us, and we'll be happy to answer. Now for our Student of the Month, Zoe Carr. Please come forward. Zoe Carr has been selected as Student of the Month for Beech Grove Middle School. Zoe is the kind of student who makes a teacher's job seem easy. She shows up to class every day prepared to learn and is always an active participant in class. While her grades are impeccable, straight A's for the first semester, including 3 A+, it is her personality and determination that set her apart. Every teacher experiences those moments when the class has been asked a question and all they get back are crickets. Zoe is the kind of kid who will look around the room and decide it is up to her to get the conversation going. She will raise her hand and offer a thoughtful response. She is always willing and eager to help other students and does so in a kind and empathetic manner. Zoe is a kind, helpful, determined, and hardworking. She is a standout student and a standout young lady. A few statements from some of her teachers. From Mrs. Johnson, Zoe Carr is a wonderful choice for Student of the Month. She is kind, helpful, and has a great work ethic. I appreciate having her in class. When asked about Zoe, Mrs. Keller said, Zoe is a very nice girl who is always well-behaved, very conscientious, and uses lots of color. Mrs. Sutton describes Zoe as an overachiever in the best kind of way. She always challenges herself to do more than is being asked of her. She is a great kid. And with that, Student of the Month, Zoe Carr.
Real quickly before Mrs. Walters goes, just a reminder that afterwards, please stay so we can get pictures. And please sign the sign-in sheet, because we'd love to send the pictures of your Students of the Month to you, so that you can have those pictures of kids and principals and teachers if they're here. We'd love to have those opportunity to send those to you. So please sign our sign-in sheet. We'll get those sent to you. So thank you.
Good evening, Happy New Year. We hope everyone obviously had a happy holiday season. I wanted to wrap some celebrations from December into tonight, even though it seems like a very long time ago. But our students held a resource fair before the end of the first semester. We've had a few of these now, and they're gaining momentum and being very heavily student-led. And it's really fantastic to see those come together, especially with this one, as students shared some mental health awareness and resources that they had taken part in with other students. It was very, very fun to watch. We hosted the Nutcracker performances in collaboration with the Dance Refinery. Those were beautiful. And then, of course, we ended December with final exams. And then hosted Credit Rescue. And as we had talked about kind of in the beginning of the year, we transitioned Credit Rescue at semester for seniors only, because we will be targeting seniors for that opportunity for semester credits, while underclassmen, we want to be sure we build those foundational skills, potentially with retaking those classes. Our choir hosted the winter concert, and we look forward to the competition season and future performances. We did transition from fall to winter sports. Wrestling and our defending ICC champs in boys and girls swimming are doing very well. Girls and boys basketball are in full swing, and our boys this evening are competing in the Marion County tournament against LC. And I hope to have an update before the board meeting ends, so we can share that. Our spring play is Clue. People are really excited about that. That'll be February 14th through the 16th. And upcoming, we have the PSAT. Mr. Gearhart mentioned we do the PSAT 8-9 for 8th graders and 9th graders. We'll do that for the 9th graders at the end of January. Also good information going into course selection their sophomore year, and then preparing for the transition to the standardized test for their GQE opportunity. We will host the ACT for 11th and 12th graders in mid-February. And at this time, it is absolutely my pleasure to introduce Maximilian Gallagher as the Beech Grove High School Student of the Month. We don't often bring freshmen to Student of the Month, but Max is certainly one of the students as a freshman that stands out amongst his peers. He is excelling academically very much in some challenging courses for his foundational coursework. Been involved with drama and art, and as a freshman took a lead role in Grease. And many of you, I think, probably saw that performance. It was really fun to watch. Most recently, too, he performed at a local community center with some of his castmates on the Grease performance. He's the son of Tim and Carol Gallagher, and this is one of our comments comes from our teachers. Max is one of those freshmen who remind us why we are in education. His confidence and his passion for what he enjoys is contagious, and we absolutely look forward to 3 more wonderful years watching his growth and progress toward future goals. Congratulations, Max.
If I could have the group of the student month back at the Hornet, I'll take the group photo first, and then I'll take the individual schools and the parents and all that, all right? So, if everybody will get back there, you need to
I think he even played like the guitar. And, you know, he was a rock star. I'm going into the food. I was doing the.
Did she give you
Different. Maddie said it was her culture. It's been 21 years.
Oh, I thought you
She's always called me now. She's always been.
Carolyn.
Yeah, she's on that.
Joe can't, he can't.
And if you want us to send all the emails to that account, so just let us know.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
And the board members, traditionally, I can send to their personal one, but that's up to you.
I could put both on the phone, but yeah, I just didn't want to make a teacher want to reach out or something.
Yeah.
You know, my email's smoking too. I live in South Carolina. It's not how Marley's phone. I was like, you know, school,
I don't know.
No, they can just email that to you. So, sounds good. Just as when you start campaigning, wanting to do this,
It's a great idea. It's a great idea.
you're right to do it. But to me, I mean, you can still, Jerry Hollifield started it, and they also put on maybe monthly, maybe it's a quarterly newsletter. I meant to bring it tonight, and it's about the city of Plainfield, it's about,
I like the idea that they do it centralized, you know.
I think it's great.
I agree.
And there's other districts and school cities that do that. My idea is that we put cameras all over the city with different characteristics.
Dave Grenoble pulled out today.
Or did it?
Craig Wiley called his attorney and told him that to let his client know that he was going to not slander him, but shit in his mess kit, basically. His attorney
Because of this.
passed.
Was it only, I mean, he served his,
Yeah, it's been expunged.
so why would Chris Wiley have any business?
He must really fear Dave Grenoble, I guess.
They would do a great job.
I think he would do fine as well. He backed up for his wife.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, it's like when I was in Monrovia, I had a couple of business guys that wanted to run. They didn't want to do it because they didn't want to hurt their business. They were in, they owned actually one in the bar. But more importantly, we had the IGA grocery store in town. And it just, they weren't worried about the bar.
I have a tentative offer on my bar.
Well, good.
Yeah. So I actually have two offers.
That's good.
Yeah, one is on contract, which is a lot more money,
Yeah.
but the other one is all now and be done with it.
Yeah.
I think that's what I want to do. I don't want to draw it out.
It'll make your life a lot easier.
Well, I thought at first, I would take the contract because I think, in my opinion, I'd end up getting it back.
and I could just sell it again, but I don't want that headache. I just want that headache. I never wanted to be a borrower. You know, I just was supposed to happen quick.
Oh, thank you very much. You should be very proud.
I was supposed to have a partner, you know. I don't know if I told you that. I was supposed to have a partner, and he was supposed to. Yeah. So I never wanted to be a 100% partner, and now that I am, I just want to have it done.
It'll be interesting if the new brewery uptown goes.
They need to add food. I don't, you know, I mean, because right now, like, they only have 4 beers.
Sir?
And I don't think it's much of a draw. It's a great idea, but what do I know?
Do what?
I signed up to help the Moose. They're in
That's
some
what I've got.
financial straits.
Huh?
Yeah. And that's been very difficult. Nobody wants to. Well, I wanted to be. I need him,
And the beach
I saw you, you have
Yes.
That's what I saw.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Students.
So where do you install those things?
No, on Facebook, I said,
Think of and manufacturing requires a trade. You'll see what
such a great
food and packaging.
You're a natural.
Yeah.
Welding applications, plastic, anything plastic extrusion, they use liquid nitrogen to cool it down so it separates from the oil. Correct. I don't know. You know what's funny? I used to install PLC controls on and I really trouble.
I used to watch the car.
And started looking for.
Yeah, look at the pretentiousness up there. That's the kind of guy you get. Steve Bear. Yeah. So yeah, get over and see it.
Yeah.
And then the last time I got sold, they offered me to buy the assets, parts, tools, trucks.
Yeah, I prefer not to buy them from Kevin.
That's fine, do it another day.
The new cook? Young, really loves it.
Well, Bart down there on Main Street can do it himself.
Yeah, but you know what? Every day.
Well, and it's good for
And they have 4 or 5 salesmen. A lot easier for me to contact the salesman and say, hey, you got a customer that's pricing or anything else. Give it to me, add your 5%, I do the work, if he has enough anything, so fix work, they bring it 5%.
You're going in the charts.
Work. And not only that, but I do the work inside the plants. So I can do end user plus.
Are we all ready?
Let's go.
So who do you have working with you? Yeah, everybody else. Three other guys. Absolutely 5 of us. That'd be Cincinnati. Should be down here for public services at their,
I can.
location. They make everything.
No.
It's a brand new building
Do I need to?
and,
You're good.
just not enough for me to go
We have
around.
nothing but time. But Purdue plays Michigan State at 9 o'clock, so just keep that in mind.
Use that gavel. Can you, I want you to really hammer it home. Yes.
All right, board, we have a couple more presentations for you this evening before we start our regular business meeting.
Okay.
So, the first one is, I know you've heard her name because we've talked about her before and all that, but Alyssa Hockett is here tonight, one of our wonderful students from Beech Grove High School, and she has, as you know, has an amazing thing. She's raised over $10,000 for safety equipment for the high school. And she wants to do that across the district. So she wanted to present to you a new device that she's come across versus what she used to talk about, and just kind of let you know an update. So, Alyssa Hockett.
All right, hello. So Mrs. Walters is passing around something. I wrote a little note to everybody in the board, and then you might have seen that letter sent out before. The alumni helped me send out over like 4,000 letters to everybody in the community. So that's what that is. You might have seen it in your mail before, but wanted to pass it out if you have not. So thank you for allowing me to present. Some of you may remember me. I was here May 2018,
and presented pretty much the same thing, but now it's a different device, and I'm going to be asking a couple more things. My name is Alyssa Hockett. I'm in 11th grade at Beech Grove High School. So I'm going to go ahead and start about what I'm doing. Again, some of you may not know me, so I'm basically fundraising money for more school security. After the unfortunate increase in school shootings last year, I figured that we should do something to raise a little bit more security in all of our schools. So besides that, I also created a club called Storm Team. It stands for a special team of role models, and we're basically dedicated to informing students on things like bullying, school safety, and with an emphasis on what to do like in a school shooting, mainly for the high school levels. All the younger levels are going to be more focused on bullying. So, and then overall, I'm just trying to be an advocate for Beech Grove Community Schools as I lead the community meetings on this topic, and I've brought more awareness to the news and through meeting with like legislatures. I met with a couple senators to propose bills that have been sent off to the Senate. And so overall, just trying to get the topic talked about. A progress update. So since I've seen you in May 2018, we have raised over $10,000, which the device that I presented in May would have been around $32,000. We are looking at a new device that I actually have here with me today that at $10,000, it's enough to secure all 5 schools. So I'll go ahead and pass this around. The Barracuda, what it does is it hooks onto the door and basically latches it onto the wall. That's not what this is. This is the new device. It's called Night Lock Security. It basically hooks the door onto the floor. So in the event of an active shooter, the shooter cannot simply just shoot the doorknob off and get in. It's connected to the floor, so there is really no way for them to break down that barrier. So we've been able to do this through having big sponsors such as the alumni, Stanley Security, Beech Grove Legion, Moose, and Eagles Club. And again, this is enough to secure all 5 schools. However, we do need the approval of the school board. And even with the $10,000, there are still more financial needs within to make this possible. So basically what I'm asking today is the same thing that I asked May 2018 for the school board to match all funds up to this date, so approximately $10,000. Again, we're very excited about this. We need the approval before we can go any further with our steps. But for the most part, we are coming to an end with this, so we're really excited.
Well, we have 2 very intelligent people on the right putting this device together.
Figured it out.
We
did.
Figured it
We
out.
figured it out.
I will say that I've had the opportunity to work with Alyssa, and she spoke to our group, part of our Safe Schools Committee, and just a great young lady. And as any great scientist, our Barracuda did not work with how our door frames were set up here. We have so many different door frames, and they're based on like a brick wall, so they're a lot wider than the device worked on effectively. So this is another device that we thought that, and she did the research on it, and Dr. Keel and I have spoken, feel that it's a very suitable device for our doors and think it'd be a good addition. So.
And I would really want to compliment Alyssa. Many times when I'm kind of working on looking at things, I'm pretty direct. And in a meeting, I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work. And I was pretty direct. I mean, it wasn't going to work. And I'll tell you, she said, okay. And I said, all right, let's go back to the, and she went to the drawing board. She came up with a cool device. And for a teenager, for a high school student to take a little bit of criticism there and just move forward, I want to pat you on the back and tell you that was outstanding, because that's hard for adults to do. But I'm kind of that realist guy that, I just kind of do those things. And you did a great job with that. And I felt kind of bad, but then I talked to Mrs. Walters, and she's like, it's okay. This is what, kids go through. So you did a nice job. So thank you for scheduling the meetings, and the way you move forward with another idea is commendable. So nice job.
Thank you.
You bet.
Alyssa, I want to thank you. Your calmness, your demeanor, you have together, your research, I thank you. I absolutely applaud you. And he is absolutely right when he says that's not easy for adults to do.
Yeah.
That's very true. So
Thank you.
awesome to you. Thank you.
Nice job.
Is there any motion on the floor to have the school board.
First, I have a question.
Yes.
Have we tested this? Have we done it? Have we put it in?
Not yet, no,
Not
we
this one.
haven't, that's the only prototype that we have. We haven't tested that one yet.
Are we gonna?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Have we, any of us worked with our own local law enforcement to see what their feelings are, or if they have any,
We have talked to them, and
any ideas on?
this is a good alternative to what we had. And this is, you know, this mounts onto the door. This piece here, the teacher has, or it's stored in a secure place. And then this piece, our maintenance team would have to, so it'd take a little bit of time to get this set up in all 5 schools, but our maintenance team would put this on the floor. It's a very small profile, so you wouldn't trip on it. It'd just be there. And then if there's an emergency, this is already on the door, the teacher would just go over, or student, would go over and just slide that in, and it locks into the floor. And so this just provides another, along with the lock, this provides just a secondary piece that will just help provide to, you know, spread that force over 2 pieces. So it's a neat little device. It's very simple. We just have to keep track of these, and that's up to the teachers. But kids, our kids understand the importance of safety, and you know, they'll know where it is. But it, you know, in most cases, you know, it could be a teacher or a student that has to use that in whatever situation might be. You know, we always talk about whether it be irate, you know, like an irate person, or, you know, it's not always just a shooter that we're talking about. We're talking about just, you know, keeping our kids safe whenever we can. So this is a great little find that you know, device that you found as a alternative. So I, again, commend you on that.
How many of them is there?
I'm sorry?
How many doors are in all 5 doors?
No, we kind of I don't remember off the top of our head, but we figured it out.
We've done estimates, so we've estimated about 50 doors per school, little less, little more, depending on the school. I know I've counted Beech Grove has around 64, the high school, and then the other schools, I'm assuming that they're less because they're smaller. We've estimated around 250, which would be enough with the 10,000.
And, you know, we only probably, not every door, like a door to a Coke machine may not have one, but all the teachers' doors, all the main doors, you know, there'd be a secure door. You'd have access to one very close, but, so it's something that we've talked about, and, you know, it's neat to see it in place, so.
Do any other schools or establishments using that particular one, do you know?
Absolutely, and she's done research and probably has a little bit about that, but.
Yeah, so they do have a website. I believe it's just nightlocksecurity.com, and they do have nightlocksecurity.com, and they do have testimonies on there. And if I may add on to the law enforcement, speaking with them, the company does provide a little tool to where they can unlock it from the outside if needed, and they would be the only ones that have access to that. You could also ask for the company to send you some for administrators as well. We haven't really discussed who would receive that, but it is there if needed. And I know that Indiana state law basically says that with any barricading device, the police and the firemen need some sort of way to get in from the outside, and so that provides that.
We could check to see if they could be kept in fireboxes. You know, every building has a series of fireboxes that the police access to draw power, the fire to draw power. We, at the library, we keep additional keys in there outside of just what they need. So there should be things in place in all the buildings to house that if necessary. With the additional $10,000, what additional things does that cover?
Yes, so just a lot of shipping, that's going to be a big part of it. But then we're also looking into something more for like second-story school buildings. So we haven't had a full meeting on it. I know I've talked to Mrs. Walters, but there are some things available to schools where if you're on the second story, you can get out through the window in a safe way instead of having to exit through the front door and go downstairs and exit throughout the building, which would make you vulnerable to anybody that's in the building. So we are looking at that as well, which the fundraising for that is going to be a lot less than 10,000, since I believe we only have 2 schools that are second stories. I may be incorrect, but that's going to be part of it. Again, shipping and just maintenance as well, having to maybe get another one if it breaks, or installation.
I think we've already approved the purchase of some of the second-story ladders for the high school. As Mr. Irwin requested some of those, so definitely something that we're definitely in support of.
Where can we include in our safe school meeting that comes up in January? Maybe kind of present this to the community also.
Absolutely.
Whether it's safe school dollars in the budget for this, we use common school loan dollars for this.
We could use, we have a variety of things we could use for this.
I have some contingency money in the, either the referendum or the operations account.
Or community day, so the resources are available.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's not a problem.
Then I move, I don't know what the motion's supposed to say. I move to do whatever we need to do to keep this line.
I just wrote it out.
Okay.
Could you read that back, please?
Motion by, to approve the safety device presented to the school board and for the school board to match the price, $10,000, seconded by Carrie. So move the motion on the floor.
I move it.
For the school board to match the donated funds
$10,000.
up to $10,000.
Second.
Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll continue our success stories and exciting times. Tara McCreary, I'm going to wave to the crowd. She's getting her speech ready. Tara's an exciting Ball State grad, right? All right. Chirp, chirp. She has been working so diligently in so many areas of food service, and I could go on and on, all the different programs and how she's reaching out to kids and the impact she's making and really trying to educate our kids on, you know, how to eat better. I think I need to take some lessons on that myself. But she wrote a grant. She was of 130 as possible candidates, and she won an award for our summer school program. And I'm going to ask Dulcie, our food service director, to maybe add to the more details on this, and we want to take a moment to celebrate the award, and you can come on up here so we can get you on camera.
In all my, I've been in the kitchen all day, elegance. Wonderful. Okay, so when he asked me this evening if I had prepared a few, something to say, I said, sorry? So I apologize for that, but I do have something that I can share very easily. There are actually two things for which Tara has been recognized this year. Well, I'm sure there is a lot more than that, really. There are a lot more than that. But the first is that she was actually nominated and then awarded the National Salaried Associate of the Year for Chartwell's K-12 in the North Central region, which for those who don't know what that region size is, it goes from roughly Wisconsin to Ohio to the base of Texas. And she won it. She should have won the whole thing. I'm just saying. I don't know who that, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, and then the one that we were discussing here is that at the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics National Conference, FNCE, Food and Nutrition Conference Expo, she was awarded out of 130 plus colleagues the 2018 Innovations in Nutrition and Dietetics Practice Award. So I just wanted to say a couple words, if I could, about Tara.
Yes, please.
I could talk all night probably, but I won't. For those who are not yet familiar with Tara, let me just say that if you were to pull out your dictionary and search words that represent admirable qualities, it's one of those situations where you would look it up and you would find her. And I mean that absolutely. She's a dietitian, but truly only in job title. In reality, she's far more than one title could ever encompass. Don't do that, you'll make me, don't do that. Okay, she's a diligent teammate, an educator, diversity and inclusion advocate, curator, marketing guru, thank goodness, and a culinarian. She's not only a dietitian for Beech Grove schools, but also another district. We do share her. And she performs all of these amazing duties in both districts with completely different personalities, really. Obviously, this one's better. It's Beech Grove. But anyway, truly though, I mean, it's a very family feeling here, and I know Tara and I both feel that we're very happy here. Just saying. Okay. So as we all know, each client is different. She's excelled at understanding the personalities of both. So during the 2017-18 school year, not even going into this part, but she was directly responsible for, I know you can't really see them, but you can probably tell how many there are. That's how many different presentations, activities, and nutrition training sessions that young lady over there held in both districts. Hang in there, that's just the tip of the Terrorberg. She had 30 students participating in the UNICEF program at South Grove, wherein students were able to gain food for those in need by tracking exercise on their Fitbits. Point for every activity, which then translated into food for the children in third world countries. She's helped to get school gardens going, participated in planting and harvesting at the schools. The ELLI program, which is our Eat, Learn, Live, that's the Chartwell's philosophy program with a mobile kitchen. She also spent her spring break this past year donating her time. Where, Tara? Sorry? Haiti, yes. Helping people there going through all the horror that they have been facing. And that's just because that's just who Tara is. It's the kind of person that we have in our midst here. I just want to make sure you know that. Part of her goals as a dietitian are, of course, the grants, increasing the grants year over year. Do you know the breakdown between, like, how much was here? I know the total was over 40,000 in grants. Let's see here. She also, with all of this, maintained 2 dietetic interns. So I really can't think of anybody that, if you think of a dietitian and you want to be mentored by someone, I really can't imagine that there's anybody better, except for the fact that good luck, living up to that. Just, she's amazing. And I will say she's truly a once-in-a-lifetime find and a teammate. I honestly cannot imagine her not being here. Her kind-hearted attitude and genuine personality make every day a joy to be part of this sometimes crazy world we call K-12. Please know that I honestly cannot imagine a person more deserving of being recognized. So, thank you, Tara.
So we've got you just to say a few words.
Okay.
So, the floor is yours.
Okay. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity for getting to impact your students' lives every day that I do. It's really a joy to see their faces light up when they try Brussels sprout, and the whole time in line they've told me they're nasty and they smell horrible. But then when they try it, they're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Yep, it is. And so that right there sells it for me. And so the program that I created for Beech Grove was Pirate Treasure. And during the summer, Melody remembers it well. And so that was the innovation, and that won. And students had a great time. The parents were even in it, like they were getting their phones out and trying to win more points. And I think that is where we're starting to learn and engage with wanting to eat more food as well. Summer's a time when a lot of kids don't have access to food, as well as learning what is a healthy food item. So like kiwi, what does that look like? Some of our kids don't know. And so having that ability to educate them and engage with them is just amazing, and teach them something. You all do a great job at teaching them from an academic standpoint, and I just want to kind of collaborate with you all and help them to take what they learn and to bring it home with them and teach them about nutrition. So, like I said, I appreciate the opportunity to do that every day with you all.
Any questions the board would like to pose? Put her on the spot even more.
It's good. It's good.
I just want to say thank you because the kids seem to love it. Everyone's engaged. They love learning gardens, the food, the growing your own food. I know that they've had a great time with it.
Oh.
So thank you.
Oh.
Well, we know you've received some awards and accolades, but tonight we'd like to present you with some flowers.
We don't ever get any flowers. That's part of that 1.1.
Yeah. It's in a line item, baby. You saw her 3 lines?
So what's next for you, Tara?
To stay here forever?
Other than, obviously that, yeah, but I mean, what's your next project? Big
Oh, yeah,
project,
okay.
yeah. With all of that, I know there's something else that you're scheming up, thinking about. Rooftop?
That would be awesome. Well, last year this past fall, we started a community farmers market, and I would really like to expand on that and make that an annual thing. So I am trying to work on finding grants that would do that and to incorporate more local organizations as well as get students more involved, whether that be a rooftop garden or I know that Clint and Ken is working hard with getting a hydroponic going. So if I can help, like those things that I know in my head, if I can find resources to get that going even more so, I would love that. So that's one thing that's always there in the back of my mind. But we have some other really fun things starting this week actually, called Cooking Matters, and it's through the Indie Hunger Network. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but they teach lessons. It's with Liz's group, and it'll be for our teens, but we've also going to start it at the community center for parents as well, and so we're going to be actually teaching these kids how to cook.
That's
Teaching
awesome.
them, basic lessons of what to identify at a grocery store, and then Indie Hunger Network is providing those resources, the funds to do that, the food, and then when they do, I think we're gonna be able to do this, I haven't confirmed with Megan, you might know more with it, they take them on a grocery store tour, and so we actually will be teaching them, this is how you shop, and so, it's all the basic fundamentals, yeah, I'm just taking for granted, and I think more and more I've seen it. These kids just don't understand.
Sounds like a good old-fashioned home economics, which we all miss.
So so we've dedicated, we do have a cooperation with Chartwells. They have provided $10,000 in an account for us to do renovations for the hydroponics. So we've moved the greenhouse conversation because a greenhouse really might be away, it's more than 10 grand. It's just really hard to pipe in and things. But our interior areas, we can do grow lights and hydroponics indoor. So we've kind of moved that conversation with the help of Tara as well. So a really great, another example. And Dulcie, you've just come in and done a great job too in the first semester of taking over and moving the entire district too. So I want to commend both of you from, nutrition, but also the business aspect. They're both outstanding. I can't let Dulcie leave without telling her. She's just been a joy this year. Don't leave us. Every time we have rock stars, right? So we just, that's a good thing. So we have a really good team thing going right now, good relationship. So I like them both, so we're gonna keep them.
Is there any way that we could get a grant of some sort to create an area where several kitchens could be built? Where you could create something like, you see Chop Junior on TV where the kids are at several stations, only in some form or fashion you bring the parents with the kid and they all learn how to cook and then they get to take that meal home or something so that it could be more of a community involvement as well as an education for parents as well as the kids. And maybe we could have several kitchens and they could do classes, and if the kids were older, maybe they could get credit in high school. I mean, I don't know, it just seems like there's a way you could tie this in with community, school, raising the kids, and the whole thing. I don't even know if there's somebody would donate.
Well, as we look at our
Area
next,
or-
as we look at our next common school loan for the high school, there's an option to look at our family consumer science area and see if that could be enhanced to meet that need. And again, that'll come up really in the springtime. So, I mean, there's some options we can look at to see if there's something like we can enhance that, because those facilities are in need of update. And that might be an option we could, kind of tie into that with the help of our outstanding team. Because we do offer foods and other classes, not,
And C9 has a
both here and at C9.
And here too,
So,
yeah, they cook.
sometimes
the
upgrading
culinary
facilities and
art.
get building our kids into it.
Have you been to Disney?
So,
Yeah, you been to those cafes.
Ready for curriculum update?
I think I'm ready. Well, as you can see in our update, kind of some, have some really good conversations with our curriculum team. We did eliminate our master teachers from the full-time position that they're in. So our principals and our curriculum team have really been working hard to try and determine how to effectively and efficiently continue our professional development plan. And I think we have some real good ideas, and we're going to continue to work on that. But I think we had a great conversation on Monday, and we just got a lot of professionals in place who are going to ensure that it continues to be effective. And we're still going to provide professional development for teachers to improve their instructional strategies and skills. And we're also going to work on continuing to provide strategies that are going to help students achieve. So we just have to be creative in how we do it. And again, with these great minds, we've came up with some great ideas, and it won't be the same as we currently have it, but it'll still be very effective, I think. So we're excited about that. We have ideas, and I think it's going to kind of evolve over this semester as we move into next year too. So.
If I can just piggyback off that, currently we have 4 people that are involved in staff development, master teachers. Mary Story will remain at the high school and work with middle school and high school. We've eliminated Dee Horn and Brad Lamar have actually started back in the classroom this semester, so we'll have immediate savings on that. I want to compliment those 2 on their professionalism. They have been top-notch in how they've handled that process. Lisa LaFavre is still in that master teacher role, only because we don't have a position for her to transition into, and then Paige Anderson has already transitioned back to the classroom. Again, very professional, and have just been very proud of how they've handled the scenario. So my hat's off to the professionalism. And so both Lisa and Matt will return to the classroom in the fall, or if we have a full-time position that yet opens up this school year, we'll consider moving at that point in time. So we're on target on our savings. I sent you an email tonight, right before the board meeting, for the digest and talk about it. At the February board meeting, Tom will come back with some more details, but as we move through the next 6 months into June, it'll become more finite for us. But we're on target. We're going to balance the budget and move forward. And our numbers are good. And enrollment for this time of year, we're at 14 kids, and normally we're down 50 to 60 to even 100 at times. So our efforts are showing some gains, and we'll send out another newsletter, recruiting letter here around the spring break time, try to get more parents in for next year. That was try to get kids to come in for this semester, which we successfully did. We had 10, 12 yesterday. And big step for her, getting those enrolled. So we'll continue to do that, and we're going to fine tune that. We're optimistic about moving forward. So, and I'll keep you updated on all the fun legislative stuff that's being thrown at us. And we'll kind of move forward from there on that. But that's kind of that comprehensive curriculum instruction. We're still going to knock it out of the park like we've done in the past. It'll just be a little bit more concise manner in which we do it. So.
For the dozen or so kids that tried to enroll yesterday, were they new to Beech Grove or coming from different schools, or? What kind?
mixture. It was, quite a few transferred in. I had like, a group of like 3 siblings. A lot of it was a kid that, not kids that maybe thought, school's not for me, I'm gonna homeschool, but it's like the grass isn't greener, and all that. So
Right.
kind of gained a feedback from that as well. And then like, one was a senior, she went to finish out her year in the school, and she's great. But I mean, so there was a lot of really, really good families and kids, and then a few move-ins. But I think it was, a lot of it was those newsletters that were sent out. They really were effective.
And we'll see kids still trickle in throughout this semester. And like I said, come spring break area, we're going to really push enrollment for next year, which we normally don't do that till the summer. But we'll push that ahead to get a better feel for it. And, it's a process of retaining the ones we have and recruiting new kids. So we're very optimistic about our future. And like I said, we're on target where we need to be.
At a school, a counselor from Fountain Square School, 8th grade counselor called me, and she wanted to know she had so many students interested in coming to our high school that she called and said, hey, what's the process? So I said, hey, send them here to me. I have room now if they want to come in, so it's an easier transition. So I'm hoping that 8th grade class is going to bump up for the transition to the 9th grade. So that was really good.
When is our ADM date this spring?
No, we don't have it in the spring anymore.
No, just the one now?
Yeah, it used to be February 1st, which was always a challenge. But they eliminated, they found that small rural schools in the state of Indiana, there were no kids that come in. And the fact that we're ahead right now is a great sign, because normally we would be dipping down just because the nature of what happens in urban school settings. So luckily they eliminated that February 1st, 2nd count, now it's just the September count. So it gives us ample time to get our enrollment going in the right direction. So. Our special ed count, we're anywhere from 25 to 30% of our total population. Our count on December 1st, this year we're down about 8 or 9 kids, which is not bad. I'm still waiting to see the final report on that, but pretty good. And again, Tom will talk more about this in February, but our tax draw for December was positive, and our budget approval for 19 was exceptionally positive. And again, we'll come back with a lot more details. And again, we just got that the last week of December. But again, all those numbers were exceptionally positive, whereas 2 years ago, as the board members who took over that first meeting in January, was a dark day. So we rebounded a second time, and we're moving forward, and we're going to continue to do some great things academically and socially for our kids.
Thank you. Did you want to talk about?
Yeah, just take a minute I just want to highlight real quickly our EL staff, Ryan Beckley, Anna Copenhaver, and Ariel Habakon. They just do a great job with our EL, our English learners, and they're getting ready for their big testing season. So our English learners not only do iLearn in the spring, but they also have a large EL test, and it's WIDA. It's kind of a kind of determines where they're at with the English language and provides the ability to build lessons in a classroom to help support them with where their deficiency are with the English language. So that testing starts, and it's quite extensive, especially for kindergartners, because it's a one-on-one type scenario. So myself and Anna, we do kindergarten and first grade, and Rita helps, Mary helps. It's kind of a whole team, but it's just wanted to highlight them tonight. And so if you hear about WIDA testing, that's the World-Class Instruction Design and Assessment Testing. That's starting, and it's just easier to call it WIDA. But WIDA is the test that we give our EL learners, and it's, they give you from January 14th all the way to March. It's because it does take quite a long time, especially in the K buildings, because you do it individual.
Approximately how many students?
We have about 125 kids, where we used to have maybe 15 to 20, and some of those are Burmese, some of those are, right, it's not. Spanish is heavily the language that people speak, but that we work with, but we do have some Burmese kids. And interesting story today was we had an EL meeting at 4 o'clock today, and Mr. Beckley said, well, what was interesting is that they give you there are dictionaries that you can use for these kids on the different tests, you know, EL and with like iLearn. And he said that there's so many dialects of the Burmese language that they had 4 different dictionaries, and this person couldn't understand any of these. So it's just you know, you can understand the challenge that heavy, like schools like Perry Meridian, you know, Perry Township schools who have a very heavy Burmese population. We're starting to get some, but not to those levels. But we'll just kind of be, we'll probably have less than 10, but we're definitely a new population that we're starting to get some influx with.
Steve, define EL for everybody.
EL just means English learners. So it's been called ELL, like English language learners, but it's just EL. So you got it. Yep.
What's the acronym for testing?
It's the world-class instruction, design, and assessment testing. And it's based out of Wisconsin. They're the ones, University of Wisconsin developed it. So
Middle of the country.
you will never know that unless you're on, maybe Jeopardy might have it. It might be on Jeopardy. Just go by WIDA. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Melody, community relations update, please?
Yes. First, I wanted to piggyback on the newsletter that we send out. Like, last time I sent a postcard out, and what I do, I may have mentioned it to you before, but every time I send a postcard or a newsletter out, I actually look at a map of neighborhoods. Steph and I talk about, I see where are our transfer students coming from, and so every time that there's a mailing, that's adjusted based on where we think we can get the most students from, transfer-wise. And then they're only sent to households that have kids from kindergarten through 12th grade. So that way we avoid, you know, senior citizen homes and all that, and people don't have kids, because I don't want to waste the district's money on sending things where people don't have any children to enroll anyway. So anyway, I want to let you know that it's not just a like throw it out in the dark kind of thing. There's a lot of work that goes into it as far as looking at what, where we need to send it to. So, and then for my update, you can see here, one of the December issues of the Hornet Blast was dedicated to Coach English. I'm sure that you saw that. One of my big purposes there was for the district and actually for Angela to have everything all in one place so that she would have it to look back on. So that was one thing for that. Also, there's a short interview about Matt English that's going to run in the Pacers pregame tonight by Fox Sports Indiana. So as soon as I get the link, I'll make sure I send it to you. And a longer version will run on January 19th during basketball day, and I'll grab that too. But a few of our high school staff members and one student, Gavin Hess, were interviewed for that interview today. Then a story on the Helping High Pantry aired on Wish TV. You may have seen that. That was really great. And so also the Beech Grove Chamber members got together, and they came to their meeting in December and brought a lot of items for a donation. The executive director delivered those the last day before the holiday break, and so that was great. And then a week from today, I'm going to visit the IMCU here in Beech Grove, because they've also put together some items for the Helping High Pantry, and I'll deliver it there. So it's been really great to see that outpouring of help for high school kids, because they often get left out of the other community programs that usually just target, you know, K through 12 or K through 6, and so they don't get the middle school and high school students. So it's really been great to see. As you know, our community safety meeting is scheduled a week from today. Please encourage everybody to attend. It's not just parents, community members. We want them to be able to attend too. So, what? 6 o'clock. Middle school. And the middle school, a lot of parents have been asking, as I posted it, it's housed at the middle school for the meeting, but it's open to all parents and community members. So it's not just for middle school parents, it's for everyone. So make sure you come, because our schools, we're going to present information on current programs that we have for safety and anti-bullying and things like that. And then, of course, we want input from the community.
Are we looking at the cafeteria or the gym? I just want to know where to go in.
In the cafeteria. Yep. So, yeah, which side to go in?
Well, we have park out back, so we just
Yeah.
the gyms or around the sidewalk.
I'll have to see what else we got going on. I think we might have a game, so I'll figure it out and let you know.
We'll make sure people know where they have to go in.
That's sometimes when you visit a school.
I know, you
if the
never,
kids
yeah.
aren't there, you don't know where to go.
Yes. And then for the Education Foundation, the month of December was really busy for us. We hosted the Retired Educators group, which are always still very, very active. Scholarship checks were mailed to students and reminder letters to those who don't. It's amazing that students don't send me their transcript when they have money waiting for them. So I send them reminders to make sure that they get that to me. The Donors Choose match went live in December, and that is a $10,000 grant that matches a half of every teacher project up to $800. That's posted on Donors Choose. And then the spring grant program, the grant proposals will be released before spring break so that teachers can work on those and get those to me before the end of the school year. And just a little FYI too, the foundation serves as fiscal agent for several different things, including like Alyssa's project. So the money comes to the foundation, and then we take care of getting letters out to them and all those kind of things. So that's it. Those are just a few highlights.
Okay, the minutes from December 11th, we need a motion, please, to approve them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
Okay, Rick, thank you.
I'll second that.
Beth beat you to it. All those in favor, or any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And claims. We need a motion, please, to approve the claims for December and January and in the amount as detailed in the, no, I do not know the amount. I can tell you, but you just, yeah, we'll fill that later. Please do the motion.
I'll motion to approve.
Aaron, thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jill. Any questions?
One question. If we go back to the, when we got the claims before, most people were against it.
If we go back to the way we got claims before state board of accounts came in.
So we don't get sideways ones anymore.
That, yeah, that would just be a scanning PDF thing. What we do now, December and January is going to always be 2.5 times higher of an expenditure than any other time. We make 11 bond mortgage payments. We transition in January by the 7th to make another pension debt service payment, about $250,000. All of those are detailed in the fund report, and it looks somewhat like that. And so I have cash balances in front of me now, so it should be $3.5 to $4 million. And the way we will work hard to make sure that when that's PDF, it rotates it so that it's readable. Before the State Board of Accounts came in, the PDF was always sideways because of the length. And it's,
That's the same with the staffing.
yeah, so we can,
Sideways.
yeah, so we can print it landscape. We can work on that to make sure that it's just a much better readable document. That's a great recommendation. We'll work on that. But really, the State Board of Accounts, the only change that we made was that in payroll, every time we do payroll, we have 2 additional pages now that indicates every single human being, dollars, so you can see fluctuation month to month. Sometimes people get a cell phone, or they might go on a trip and get mileage, or they may have finished coaching, so they'll get like $3,000. But then if you ever have a question to that, I can say, oh yeah, that person was the swim coach for 4.5 months, and they got paid. So you'll be able to see those anomalies, but that's really the only change. There's nothing really different than that. But Steph and I will work on that, certainly. Yeah. We can do it, yeah.
Are there any questions? We answered the only question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, carried. Thank you. And public comment on the agenda? Thank you, none. And our business updates.
I do want to start out by saying I once again cleared another room, so the business update's ready to go. So, just FYI. I don't really have much. I just want to be very to the point. We have a couple of personnel motions there. as far as a supplemental base salary, that is just something we went through discussions. It is a standard amount, it is allowed by law to do. These are two people who have acquired their master's degree, okay? And that is something that we talked about, and we believe that that has been very standard for many, many years, now that we don't truly have an incremental base change. So those are the two in there. And then the only other one, I gave you a document that's separate. It has approximately $2 million worth of transfers. This is the culmination. You need an extra? This is the culmination of House Bill 1009 in numbers. So I gave you it in concept in 2018. I couldn't give you numbers because I hadn't paid all, we hadn't paid all the bills. So now we got to the end and we had really, our numbers were within a couple of % of what we had anticipated all year. So then that allowed us to populate the education fund with 1.1 million. General fund had 1,044,000 at the end, at the January 1, 2018. At the end, we're right at 1.1 million. So that's very stable, but I want to remind you, the reason why we gave recommendations for personnel changes is that 1.1 million every month that we get revenue. It'll be $45,000 less every single month moving forward until we get a new student count. So we're talking a while, 7 or 8 months, okay? So that's why that 1.1 million multiply 45, basically 50,000 times 8, and we're talking, this is a stability thing that we need to keep on the horizon. So we're not rolling in dough, but we're stable, and I just wanted to reiterate that, okay? Then we took the culmination of every other dollar in those funds, and the cash balance for the operations fund to start the year is $716,930. And again, we typically spend 2.9 to 3.5 million in that area. So we're starting off the year with about 750, $750,000. Moving forward, I'm going to recommend probably about 10% of the money we get in revenue every month, a month later. So whatever we spend in January will be the exact dollar figure that I recommend in February to continue to try and keep the same cash balance in operations. So our target would be to have the same cash balance at the end of the year. We did a detailed analysis. I want to thank Kathy Statzer for the numbers. 12.6%, 12.67% of our general fund, 12.6, has always been used on operations, 12.67%. There's House Bill 1003 that will have a hearing tomorrow. They're recommending no more than 15%. So already that, I don't know where other schools are. I mean, there's so many numbers in the world, right? But we're 12.67. Rock on. I mean, that's a great number for us. So we're kind of an anomaly with our referendum and our tax circuit breaker loss and our tax cap loss. But it appears to me that out of our total funds, we spend 60% on the classroom out of all funds, debt included, 60% or more. We're not right at that 65% solution. And then out of the general fund, the tuition, we're paying over 85% of our dollars to the classroom. So that's a great analysis.
Which is the goal of the state like the cities do.
Yeah, and I think we're already there. So I sent a little bit of a note, and it was kind of a little bit of a, I don't approve 1003 from our standpoint, and I told them, we're doing a professional job. You don't need to put more restrictions on us when we're already doing a professional job. So, hope I don't get too much feedback from that, but I just wanted to let them know I didn't want that. We don't need just more restrictions just because.
I might have added that into the comment section of my legislative opinion.
So I could share that comment with you, just so that you know our point of
I'm
view.
going to quickly summarize in 30
Good.
seconds. So remember, we have general fund, debt service, capital projects, bus replacement, transportation, rainy day, and referendum. Now we have the education fund, which was the general fund, and then you have transportation, capital project, bus replacement, they're now the operating fund. So we're allowed to, so this is new for all the board, so every month, as Tom said, we'll transfer from the education fund to operations, because we used to be able to spend it out of the general fund. Now there's certain things we can't spend out of there, we have to spend on operations, so this is very transparent, and so basically, this is what they want us to do. And we'll talk in greater detail and kind of lay this out in February moving forward. So this is the process, we're gonna ask every month, it's routine. Again, we're rock solid, much better than we thought we would be. We're gonna knock it out of the park, as I said, and be very conservative. And as other people leave and people retire, we'll keep you updated on where that target revenue, right now, we're above where we think we needed to be on our savings plan. But again, like I said, if other people leave, we have a teaching assistant who's leaving us here in February, and we'll have some savings on that and some other things. So we'll keep you abreast as we move forward, please. But again, we've made some great strides.
And the last paragraph says, we had no money in operations to start until you transfer the dollars, okay? So the last statement says, this understanding will be in place during 2019. This resolution will authorize the advertisement for an additional appropriation, because I don't have permission to spend those dollars yet, because we didn't have any money in the account. So now we do, and we are dedicating no more than 3 million, which is about 13%. So it says this resolution will authorize the advertisement for additional appropriation for the calendar year budget of 2019, and approval to transfer $3 million from the education fund and expended during the 2019 calendar year, and that'll be out of the operations fund. So that has to go before the DLGF. I have to put it in the newspaper. We'll have to sign, this resolution that shows we're dedicating dollars, and then we're authorizing the expenditure of it.
And that's an annual event we have to do moving forward.
I think so, yeah. So that's really the intent of that resolution, and it helps us do business for the entire calendar year. So I appreciate your consideration in that recommendation. So your motions are in the board agenda. I think there are 4 of them.
For personnel update?
There are 3, under personnel update, there are 3 motions for personnel, and then the fund transfer resolution, January 2019.
I'll make a motion to approve the employment recommendations as listed.
All is one motion? Do we have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then we need a motion to approve the transfer resolution as just described.
I'll motion.
A second?
I'll second that.
Aaron? Who is the first motion?
Pat?
Beth. And then Aaron, the second. Any questions on that one? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passed.
Thank you.
And back to Dr. Brady for operations.
They-
I'm sorry.
They did all 3 of
We
those
did
on
all
the first
3
one.
on the first one.
I'll make it official. I make a motion to approve all 3 as listed.
I think Mr. Gearhart celebrated one of the things I was going to mention. That was our painting of the gym, and we're excited about that. And we're scheduling our second meeting. We should be having our roofing quotes coming in the next few weeks. So it will allow us to determine how much extra money we have to do other things, bathroom upgrades, concrete. Well, not really much concrete work, we can't do that as part of the common school. But, classroom furniture, et cetera, all kinds of stuff when you have a building that old. But, so it's moving on. This common school loan process has been a great my standpoint as an operations person, and I have my operations hat on, because it allows us to do things that we haven't been able to do project-wise. You know, when you're not given much of an operations fund to turn to do anything in major projects. So, as you know, we're Beech Grove, and we work hard to, just keep, we have great foundational pieces to our buildings. We just have to keep upgrading. We just can't go out and build new schools like a lot of people do. But this allows us to do that. So it's kind of neat seeing some of those things going on at the middle school. And so good to see that. And then also another exciting project that was talked about by Tara was the hydroponics room at the high school. That is a grant provided by Chartwells. And so over the break, we knocked out a wall, and they had, the hydroponics equipment was actually free, given to them. So they picked it all up, and with the grant went to actually develop a room with the removal of the wall, the electrical work. So really it's a free project, and we're just lucky that our teachers went out and got the equipment, and we're lucky to have the grant to go with it. So it's between the two ag rooms. This is Barkman's classroom and Mr. Mark, I'm drawing a blank now. Mr. Bullock's. So I have these on the wall. So it's between their classrooms. It's like a big work area. So we knocked the wall out, ran electrical in it so they could hang grow lights and things like that. So a lot of that conversation was maybe to help provide food to do that community pantry. And it's going to be neat for our kids to have that opportunity to experience hydroponics on a small level. So those are just some of the things going on along with all the other projects our operations team deals with. So I just wanted to highlight those. And if you get a chance, stop over at the middle school and see the new gym painted. That was something that Tom and I had been talking about when I was just assistant principal for the last probably 10 years. We talked about getting the gym painted. We're finally able to do it. What's that? I have the honor of being the MC, yes. Yeah, so it's one of the things I enjoy doing. I love it. So, love day. So, yep, that's coming up 23rd, I think.
23rd, I got to talk to Sarah about the actual format.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit different.
Yeah. I know we've done it in the past, done in the TV studio and different things, but so, yep, exciting times. Thank you.
Great. Closed bids, donations, and purchases. I think there were 2 donations. We have a motion to approve those donations. I'll make a motion. Janice, and Beth second. Any questions?
Thank you to the Lions Club for such a generous donation to South Grove.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Do we not have anything on fundraising?
No fundraisers, thank you. On the donations, and I'm just asking as a procedural, as in who needs to send the thank you note to those donations? Or do we typically?
I think the school usually does. Wherever the donation is made, I think they send a thank you note.
Okay.
No, once you follow up and send an email out to the principal, just to remind them.
I'm not, and I just asked that because it came up in my other life, so thank you.
I do have one financial donation update. The Matt English Memorial Fund that will be donated to athletics is over $4,400 to date. So just wanted to give you that positive. 4,434, and then we have some checks and things to clear. So it could be 5,000 maybe, which is very nice. Just wanted to mention that.
Erin, did Angela start back today? She's starting tomorrow. Actually, just received a text. Yeah, so we've got a plan for a Starbucks, a mid-morning snack, someone else is getting lunch, we have a silly to-do list. We think we've got, the whole staff is wearing Angela's Tribes t-shirts tomorrow.
Sorry Santa Claus couldn't visit
That's all right.
on
It
that
was a last-minute
particular
thing.
day. He was very busy.
He's booked up.
In December, it's very tough.
It is. I appreciate him taking my test.
Probably spring break coming back after spring break.
Wonderful. Policy and guideline considerations. I think the only one we have is the public participation.
Yeah, I thought we could just tie that right into our work session since it's the first draft and make our work session very short.
Any community or committee reports?
I have the privilege of now being on the Chamber of Commerce Board. And today I met for the first time, my 4-year commitment. And we're doing a miniature golf fundraiser. And I volunteered to be on that because I can't play golf, but I can do miniature golf. So I will be reaching out to you guys to participate in that. And also, it's down here at Rustic down here in Arlington.
Have you ever been there?
I've seen it.
It's really cool. It's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, you know, I look forward to serving on that. We've always had a school rep on it, Tom's been on it, Melody's been on it, Shirley's been on it, so I was appointed through, elected, appointed because no one else wanted to do it, but I'm looking forward to serving in that capacity. And so those are the 2 committees I volunteer because I know nothing about music or dance or any of the other stuff, but I can play miniature golf. So, but it'll be good.
Okay, that's fine. Look forward to that. Any success stories?
I'd like to point out the high school boys swim team won their sectionals, but not only just that, but the story was very exciting because it was announced right before the last relay race that Beech Grove boys and another school were neck and neck in points exactly. And so it came down to the final 4 final 4 swimmers in the relay race. But not only that, it came down to the last swimmer was almost a lap behind, and this is a 100 relay, so it's 4 laps. It was almost 6 seconds behind the other school, and I believe the anchor of the team was John Carl Bush Collins, and who's an excellent swimmer. And you know, my daughters noted that he was trembling on the just shaking on the just getting ready to. So he goes off and at the very you didn't even know who won until you looked up at the board and because it came down neck to neck, and so the boys and the girls that participate in the swimming work so hard, and they got it's really great to see their participation. So.
And this is their 9th year of championship.
Of the conference.
Conference, right.
Conference, yeah.
The sectionals or conference? I'm not sure.
Conference.
Okay.
Conference, yeah. Which is a pretty good, how many teams we have?
Yeah.
Right.
Swimmers don't always get the recognition. That's wonderful.
Because they're all wet.
Yeah.
Well, they're the background on the Hornet Blast this week, so make sure you look, okay?
Any others? No? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn? The new, that we adjourn.
Second.
Jill and Rick, thank you. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned at 8:50.
Okay, now, we have to do a quick board of finance. And all we have to do is do the slate of officers. And it's an annual thing, and it's at the end of your board packet. So, as president, you can ask for nomination for officers for the